Hey guys, Jim here. We're going to stuff a lot into this little video right here. As you see, I got quite a few things here in front of me. We're only going to really be dealing with two things, but there's a few things that I want to kind of slip into the video and give you more of a feel of what all this is about. Now, the subject of the video will be the HEAdesigns and Liong Mah design Ace, along with the Sabertooth. Sabertooth is probably one of the coolest non-knife essential things, if that makes any sense, that I've got my hands on lately. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to have a really hard time sending that back. None of this stuff is mine, but I don't really do guest blade anymore, but this was something that I've been suckered into this a couple of times. If you guys have been paying attention in the past month or so, just some really awesome shit that I really feel I need to share with everybody. So, without any further ado, let's get into an official, non-official, not really kind of, but sorta pseudo guest blade on the Ace and the Sabertooth. Now, the reason why I have this stuff out here, obviously you guys know this represents Liong Mah designs. This came from Liong with one of my previous knives. This is Liong Mah's card right here. Dun, 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 Liong Mah design. By the way, if you ever want to just call him or text him and send him dirty pictures, there's his number. He appreciates that. So it's LiongMahDesigns.com. And this is Sam from HEAdesigns. And here is his info right here. He's slightly more professional than Liong, so, you know, don't send him dong pics or anything, but there's his phone number and email address and website should you be interested in picking up some of the goodies that I'm going to show you here today. Now, some of the stuff, to get down to it, let's talk about what HEAdesigns really is. Basically, Sam is a CAD genius. So he can design pretty much anything and throw it into a computer and make it to where it can be manufactured. And it could be anything from something simple like this, which is just a multi-tool and bottle opener that Sam actually manufactures. Very handy, very cool, fits right onto a keychain, does everything you want to do. It's got a little scraper and everything on there. Very cool. Now, a lot of places can do that. A lot of people can do that. Where the skill comes in is designing something that is going to be functional and cool. And, you know, we all associate that with pocket knives. We love our folding knives, and we've seen a lot of companies do some really amazing work just doing nothing but, you know, CNC and CAD and, you know, not even doing the old school way of making knives. And that's fine. There really are different schools of making knives now. You know, used to it was the guys that forged and the guys that did stock removal, and they did their own thing. And then CNC and water jet came along, and that really brought in a whole new era of knife making. What I'm going to show you here is an evolution for Liong Mah's designs. Now this, oh hello sexy, that's the Ace. Now the Ace comes along just after, I'm going to put this right up here, and I'm going to pull my personal collection out now. I have one of each of the Liong Mah designs. This, you guys very well know, this was the Warrior 1. This was the first piece that Liong designed and decided to do a production version of. Remember, what I'm showing you here, none of these are custom. These are all production knives. This was his first production knife for himself that he did with David at HEAdesigns Knives. The next to come along was this bad boy right here, and I've not done a video on this, and I apologize for that. Still awesome, beautiful, cool. So, and I actually also own an Ace myself, so I don't really need to bring it out here because I have one here, but just want to show you that the praises I'm going to sing about that knife are real. And this was actually a gift from my really, really good buddy, Jake McCoy. Jake, I love you, buddy. Thank you so much. He knew I wanted to complete my Liong Mah trilogy and texted me one day and said, hey, I'm going to send you a quick little gift, no big deal, but look for it in the mail. And yeah, it was actually a pretty big deal, dude, and I really appreciate that. So here they are. Let's get these out of here. So there's the Warrior 1. There is the Remedy, which one of these days, yes, I will do a video on because it's pretty friggin' cool. But we're going to focus right now on the Ace. Now, this is basically, if you want to think of it this way, it could be a three-way collaboration. So you have Liong, you have Sam from HEA, and then you have David Deng from HEAdesigns Knives, who did the actual manufacturing. So basically, Liong and Sam met up last year at the New York Custom Knife Show, and they kind of hit it off. They're both from New York. Liong was originally from New York, and they started talking about knife designs and other cool things. So they basically just sat down and started, I think it was in a diner. They were just sitting in a restaurant and just started fleshing out cool designs to do for a knife. A couple weeks later, Sam had done the full CAD rendering of this knife right here. And not only did it work well for what Liong wanted to achieve, which, you know, some of those signature things are his flats and bevels that run throughout the knife and throughout the blade, but also, you know, Sam had to sit down and make it work with how David was going to manufacture it on his machines as well. So it's really a big deal for him to step in there, and you know, he's got to satisfy the artist and he's got to satisfy the manufacturer all at once, and I can't imagine how difficult that must be. So what you're looking at here is what I think a badass little knife. I don't want to say little knife because it's actually pretty large. Let's put it up again next to the Warrior 1, which we know is a 3.5 inch blade, and you see it's just a little touch bigger, about a 3 3/4 inch blade. Nice, good, full-size knife. Oh, it's actually 3.7 inches long, and you've got 4-inch handles with great ergonomics, and I mean really great. I love my Warrior 1, but as you see, it's a pretty straight profile. You do have that enhanced choil there, but it's a pretty straight profile on the frame. You get to the Remedy, it's got a little bit of curvature to it, but here you've got this beautiful sway back, or humpback, whatever you want to call it, I guess. Yeah, I guess it'd be more of a humpback than a sway back, so it's got a nice humpback to it. Comes down. It's got a little bit of fighter in it where it comes up around the pinky. Again, not enough to jam your hand into one position like you've seen me talk about with a few other knives recently. It does give you room to move, but you do kind of feel it there. And then the very pronounced finger groove here. This feels really, really nice in the hand. This is actually one of the most ergonomic knives that I've come across in quite a long time, as a matter of fact. As you can see, as always, the action on the HEAD knives are incredible. This is a ceramic bearing set, ceramic detent. It is as smooth as it can possibly be. But what I love are the unique lines to it and the ergos. Everything just flows together. Sexy, sexy. Nice stonewash on the blade. I'm getting kind of tired of seeing that, to be honest. Everybody's mid-tech right now is in a stonewash blade. Everybody's production knife right now is in a stonewash blade. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a very common finish, even on full high-end customs. But the problem with right now, everybody coming out with a mid-tech or a production knife, everybody's doing the same fucking finish. It's getting old, it's got to change. It's not a knock on this knife, but it is so prevalent right now. Everybody has the same finish. And yes, while I realize because this is a budget price knife, it allows people to buy this and then pimp it and do their own finishes or send it out to their buddy that does finish work and change things up. It is a great platform for that. However, I'd love to see some different finishing options made available. Now, that may not be something that David can do right now because I know he is swamped. He is overwhelmed and overloaded between Liong, between the bags with the new Quaken and the new mini version of the Bodega that's coming out. He has and his own line of knives. He has a lot of work ahead of him, so he may not be able to offer all those different finishes. So again, that's just a general nitpick, not a nitpick per se against this knife. One of the things that I love is that it does have an opening for a lanyard. This is a knife that I don't know that I would feel the need for a lanyard because the clip is set down a little bit. It's not a stupid deep pocket carry clip where you can't actually get your hand on the fucking knife and get it out. So I don't think I would need a lanyard, but if I chose to put one on there, I like that I have that option. Another interesting feature is the pocket clip. Very, very stylized, full 3D sculpted titanium pocket clip. This, by the way, is a full titanium frame lock, all 6AL 4V titanium. It really flows with the design, and it almost hides away the way that it's sitting here. Now, as much as I love the design, they do need a little tweak because it's a little bit loose. And I thought that may have just been on mine, but I see it's on there too. So it does work itself a little bit loose. So keep an eye on it. You're going to want to make sure that screw is nice and tight. They need to do one of two things. Either make a deeper pocket for this to sit into a recess where it locks it in, or they need to pin it from the other side. One of the two. It's an easy fix, but it's something they have to kind of go back to the drawing board for future pieces to make sure it's taken care of. Other than that, though, I have absolutely zero gripes about this knife. One of the things that I love that David is doing, when you take a look at it, let's close it. When you look at it from this side, you notice that lock bar cutout and the lock bar itself is very, very, very clean. However, you notice there's a screw there. That screw is holding in the steel lock bar insert. So you get the benefit of the steel-on-steel lockup, which is becoming more and more important these days. More and more makers are realizing this and doing it, but they usually section it. So the whole top half of the lock bar is going to be the steel, and then it's mated to the titanium. Two different materials with two different color temperatures, as you could see right there. But what David does is he hides it, so you only see titanium here, and he puts it in from the back side only, and it really helps to keep a nice clean flow on the lock side of the knife. I dig that a lot. As is standard with HEAD, you have S35VN. There is the HEA logo there, and then Liong Mah's logo right there. I love it. I love how it feels. I love the action. I love how silky smooth everything about this is. And a fantastic friggin' detent. But again, I'm not telling you anything that you don't know if you've already handled any of HEAD's knives. David somehow has mastered the flipper immediately. I mean, immediately, when he started doing the Horizons. It was crazy. And they were still good on the D9s, on the District 9 when they first came out. But it just got so much better immediately. And he's been perfect from then on. Now let's just take a little move on for a second, because I know you guys saw this and went, what in the hell is a Sabertooth? That looks like a pretty badass little flipper, right? But you're thinking, oh, well, it's kind of generic for a fancy knife. Well, check this out. Yes! It's a flipper comb. Just soak that in. It's a flipper comb. I'm going to bring this as close as I can to the microphone, so it may disappear out of frame, but I'm hoping you'll actually hear it, because the sound of this when it deploys is amazing. Let's see if I can get it to capture the sound. Try it again. That is wild as shit. Now I have two versions here. This is more or less what you're going to be seeing as the production version. I mean, this is well made. This is made to the standards of a really nice mid-tech flipper knife. All bearing system, amazing detent, great fit and finish. I mean, it's nuts. That one's even louder. Let's see if I can get that to pick up on the mic. Ka-ting! You might be thinking, that's kind of impractical. Where the hell would Sam have come up with an idea like that? Basically, Sam likes to think of things that are going to be unique and creative and give somebody a little bit of benefit in their life. And basically, he was going through Instagram at one point and noticing people doing their hand dumps and pocket dumps and whatever other silly dumps they may call things. And he noticed that people would carry, like, you know, a knife, maybe some sort of multi-tool, and a flashlight, and the small titanium combs that have been being made by several various different people. He thought to himself, well, instead of having to carry two separate things, I could make a comb that operates just like the knives they love, fit in their pocket, and clip in there just like that. And that's kind of a different way of doing it. But he also had another thought. There are a lot of people that just love to sit there and flip their knives and play with their knives over and over and over. I know I certainly do. It's half the fun of owning a flipper. But you may be in an area, a public area, where that might be frowned upon, or gosh darn, downright illegal. If nothing else, you're probably making somebody else feel uncomfortable. So instead, you can sit there and flip your comb. Oh yeah. So you get the same satisfaction that you do out of flipping your knife, and it's not a deadly weapon. Does it work as a comb? Oh, I'll be honest with you. I haven't used it as a comb because these aren't mine. I don't use a comb. I just kind of style my hair with my hands and I'm out the door. I really don't spend a lot of time on it. However, as I continue to grow my facial hair out longer and longer, I like to have something to keep my goatee nice and straight and fluffy and not looking scraggly like a 60-year-old biker that just got off his fucking Harley. Nothing wrong with that look. It's just not the look for me. I like to be a little bit more groomed. So I do carry a small John Gray titanium comb. And I use that, and it keeps everything in order and looking nice. What a cool option to have for a knife guy that's used to having a flipper clipped in his pocket for just a little bit of extra grooming. I don't know. Some people have commented that they thought it was the coolest thing they ever saw when I put some pictures on my Instagram. Some people thought it was hokey. Doesn't matter. Man, it's out there and it's cool. Now here's the thing. These are not ready for prime time yet. These are both prototypes. This one he customized a little bit. They were, they're changing manufacturers, basically. The manufacturer they were going to go through just simply fell too far behind, could not meet the deadlines. And, basically went to Sam and said, hey, listen, we have respect for you. We want to make this project for you, but we just don't, we can't meet your deadlines and we don't want to screw you up. So he was left kind of scrambling a little bit. He did just now nail down a new manufacturer that can make these for him. So these will be forthcoming, I would say probably around first of the year. Now, if it comes out earlier, you can always check his Instagram account. I'll put everything down there in the description, and you'll see all the updates. You can always check his website. Again, that's information I showed you at the beginning of the video that I'll also put down there as well. So if you're interested in getting one of these, first thing I'm going to tell you is right now, they ain't cheap. You can buy that for the price of that. However, everybody prioritizes things a little bit differently. I'm going to have one just because I think it's fucking cool. And sometimes we pay a little premium for things that are fucking cool. Actually, I think it's a little bit less than the Ace. I don't want to exaggerate. But it's basically, it's the price of a good, solid, well-built flipper knife. So take that money out of your budget. Instead of buying a knife one day, you buy a comb the other. That's entirely up to you. I think it's very cool. I'm going to have one. I kind of like this smaller size a little more. This one's a little bit big. This one's kind of a handful. Actually, damn, that's almost the size of the Warrior 1. But that's a chunky little guy. But again, these are extremely well made. This is, I mean, we can call it a novelty because it's a novelty made for us, but it's not a novelty. It's not a toy. These are every bit as seriously made as the knives are. The only difference between this and that is the fact that it has teeth on it instead of a blade. But it is built to the same level of manufacturing and specifications that a really nice knife would be. I mean, there's a nice custom pivot. There's your, look at the lockup. You have lockup on your comb. Come on, guys. How fucking cool is this? Look at the lock bar cutout. When was the last time you saw something like that? There is a lot of work and a lot of detail in these for a comb. So it's up to you whether you think it's cool or not. I think it's cool as shit. You don't have to follow my footsteps, obviously, but I think it's just going to be fun to carry and show off, and again, yeah, just kind of sit there and play with. I'm not going to sit in the middle of a restaurant and flip one of my knives. Not that I really am that fidgety that I have to be flipping something all the time, but there are times that, yeah, I kind of enjoy it. And with this, I can feel free to do so safely, not scare people and not go to jail over it. So Sam, I want to thank you so much for sharing all this with me. I am weeks and weeks and weeks delayed getting this video out, which is why I have stopped doing guest blade, because I don't have the time to get things back to people, unfortunately. But Sam was very, very patient. He has a few of the Ace left. Most of them sold out while I was sitting on my ass not making this video, but there are some on his website. You can still buy some. Again, the link will be in the description below. So Sam, again, thank you for sharing this with me. Liong, as always, I love you, man. Thank you for all the hard work you've been doing. And I think that every time we see a new design come out of your mind, it's just cooler and cooler and cooler. And so far, this is the best ergonomics of any Liong Mah that I've held. And I've held his customs, the ones that he's made with Jeremy Marsh and Todd Rexford and Brad Southard. I've held those, hanging out with Liong and playing with his collection. This is the best ergonomics I've felt out of any knife that he's designed yet. So it just goes to prove, no matter how good you are, you can continue to grow and get better with time. And Liong certainly has done that. He doesn't age very well. I mean, he's an Asian man that looks at least 10 years older than he is. And that's just fucked up and backwards. But his skill certainly ages very, very well. All right, guys, I'm out of here for now. Thank you for joining me as always, and I'll catch you on the next video.